sometimes in our world, on this planet, there are some people who are born, and with their presence, everything shifts. Societies shift, people change, and that one person we are very, very fortunate to have in this room, who's been our guiding light, our inspiration. And if we are even thinking about reinventing education system, like what Suren rightly said, we have to really impact the next generation. It would not have happened without the intervention that we've had with our mentor, Blair Singer. So, Blair, we would like you to please grace our stage and
please,
share a
if you
few
all can
words.
stand up for
A standing ovation for our master, Blair Singer, who has been in the industry of training, coaching for more than 30 years, training all over the globe. And he's going to share his special connection with India. Thank you, Blair. What would you like to share, Blair?
Thank you, brother. How many of you really feel like there's a few things you need to change in your own life? Raise your hand. Now, there's two ways that's going to happen. It'll happen in a matter of crisis. It'll happen when you least want it to happen. It could be your failing health. It could be your failing finances. It could be the relationship of your life that walks away from you. I had a mentor once that said, crisis is change that's trying to happen. Crisis is change that's trying to happen. It's just we've had opportunities to make changes, but we keep kicking the can down the road. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Or the second way is through a process of transformation, playing the game that we were intended to play probably as human beings, which Nalanda discovered centuries ago. That's more elegant, that honors the spirit, that honors the genius in every single person. So I just want to say thank you to having me here. I'm sitting here thinking, what the heck am I doing here? How did I get here? I mean, a farm boy from the middle of the United States growing up on a dairy farm, how do I end up in Chennai standing on a stage with one of the most brilliant coaches, trainers, tech geek, whatever you want to call them, but I feel like I've known him my entire life, maybe for several lifetimes. And to be inspired when COVID hit in 2020 and our whole business shut down, excuse me, I had a hunch to call. And that simple phone call in the middle of a crisis turned out to be one of the most brilliant, fulfilling gifts that I think the world is going to experience. And this film is one piece of it. And to you guys, the crew, and you as the director, you guys as the press for hanging out here, I hope you're learning something while you're behind the camera. Thank you all for all of this. So what I want to say is this: crisis is change that's trying to happen. And I think that years ago I had a vision. One of my mentors said that we all have the opportunity to, this is back in 1983. My mentor said to me, we all have the opportunity to live at a higher standard of living than humanity has ever seen. Ever. We could all live like millionaires, he said. And that hooked me. And it was a combination at those times of business development training, financial training, and personal development training. So what's being revealed here are the changes of these amazing people here. Over here, okay? But these are real. And these are not stories just for you to be entertained by somebody else's story. You can go to the cinema and see that anytime. Everybody understand, yes?
Yes.
There is a process, a system that Suren and and Sadat have embraced, that has been developed for many, many years. And it's a system that will bypass the education industry. I don't know what you were talking about, but I knew you were talking about education and the British hijacking the system. I got that part, okay. So I won't repeat that. But it is a system. And so when it says a game of change, I'm going to say that we are at a crossroads. This film is more than a film. This is the beginning. So congratulations to all of you for being at the very beginning of something brand new. But it's not just brand new in India. This is brand new in the world. In the world. I have the fortune or misfortune of traveling to 25 to 30 different countries throughout the years. Okay, teaching, educating, trying to let people know that there is a way for you to discover your genius because it's God-given. The ancients always knew that genius was something that was given by a deity, a demagogue, or somebody to all of us. And our job as teachers and masters is to help people find it. Just find it. By asking the right questions at the right time, being in the right place at the right time. How many of you have ever been in a place like that where all of a sudden everything just seemed to work for like a minute or an hour or a day? How many of you have ever had that happen? Well, what if I could tell you that this process will allow you to live that way? Allow us all to live that way. Does that make sense? So I'm excited about it because, like I said, this is a first. In the world, there have been lots of documentaries and lots of things about education and this person's breakthrough and that person's breakthrough, but it wasn't backed by a system. Somebody said we should change the education system. It's dead globally. And how many of you would agree that the world right now, outside this room, is in somewhat of a crisis globally? Raise your hand if you can see that, yeah? There's some problems, yes? And I've always said, and we all agree, there's not one problem on this planet that cannot be solved by people that know how to communicate, collaborate, get their egos out of the way, and learn how to learn and love. Everybody understand, yes? So I think what Sarun was saying, they don't teach us what we need to learn. How many people don't remember mathematics? Okay? But how about resiliency? How about what happens when you get knocked down and when things don't work your way? What do? You get to pick up a gun and shoot somebody? That's what some people do in the world. And that's a failure of education. It's a failure of education. That system is long outlived. So I'm honored to be here, my friend, and in whatever way I can support that vision back in 1983 of all of us living as millionaires. I had a vision of an army of trainers, coaches, masters, that would go around the world helping people find their genius, code of honor, values, missions, all that kind of good stuff. I keep working, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, oh my God, it's happening right now. And you guys are filming it. And you've put it on in a movie. And I'm going, how is this possible? So I could go on and on and on, as you know I would. But it's important. Nalanda was an example, a crown jewel. I would say a crown jewel for all of humanity, because it taught us how to cooperate and collaborate, multidisciplinary, and it put so much fear in so many power structures that it took them months to burn it to the ground. But it still lives here with you, up here. And I keep asking myself, why do we keep coming back to India? What is this attraction to India? And I think that the attraction is this has always been the home of education, spiritual growth, technical growth, business growth, all of that. It's your heritage. This is not me. This is your heritage. This is what has been in the soil, and now it's resurrected. It's coming back. You can burn the books, but you can't burn the spirit. Make sense? So I can't wait to see the film. I can't wait to see the film, and thank you so much for being partners. 3 great ecosystems come together to create something for the world. So this is not just, from my perspective, this is not just India, but you are leading the charge. The world needs you more than you know. So thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Let's give it up for our master.
டீச்சர்ஸ் எல்லாருமே அவ்வளோ ஒரு பொட்டென்ஷியலாக பேசிட்டாங்க. தென் நம்ம ரொம்ப நைஸ். The entire crew of Game of Change இருக்காங்க. It's finally happening. 7 மாஸ்டர்ஸ் பின்னாடி இருந்து கேம் ஆஃப் சேஞ்சுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு சூப்பரான ஒரு இன்ஸ்பிரேஷன் டாக்குமெண்ட்ரி பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. A big round of applause please.